Welcome to the Paris City podcast. Here I have Habiba Basiony, correct, with me, and she's the founder of Hot and Salty, correct?
So the swimwear brand is called Salty.
Salty.
Salty Beachwear.
Salty Beachwear. So where does Hot comes from?
So I guess this is was the first step in learning more and more about digital marketing, and Salty as a name for beachwear is very, very popular, and it exists all over the world.
Okay.
So when I was setting up the account, I'm like, do I want to call it just something salty that's gonna have 5, 6 names after it that people are gonna forget, or what is something that's gonna be just really, really memorable? And so HotnSalty kind of came up, and that became the Instagram name. And so I think a lot of people sometimes think that it's the name of the
basically,
brand.
Salty is the name. So if I have your brand currently now, it will be Salty, not Hot and Salty.
Yes, so the name of the brand is Salty. If you want to find us on Instagram, it's Hot and Salty with an N.
With an N. Okay. So how did you start?
I think if I really have to think about how I started, I think it's just about my passion for this lifestyle,
You could do a million things with this lifestyle. Why beachwear?
Because I did do a million things. I think it's the road to creating something is never a straight line.
Never straight around.
Right?
You end up somewhere eventually.
Exactly. So I started with design.
Yeah.
Since I was very young, I designed clothes for myself. And I started by creating a ready-to-wear line for women. So I did that probably right before COVID. So that wasn't the best timing. And that was my first collection, which I was producing and manufacturing here. And as locally, yes.
Wow.
So I did everything was handmade, everything was done here locally. And then learned a lot from that experience. But in my heart, I'm a beach girl.
I always love this expression, in my heart.
Yes, in my heart. And I grabbed the mic, so that shows you how much in my heart it is.
Yeah.
It's very much in my heart. I'm a beach girl through and through. And in my heart, I always wanted to do swimwear. Like, I would travel the world. I'm a big traveler, travel to the world and collect bikinis, swimwear from all different countries. Like, that was my thing. I'd never actually buy bikinis here. Not that I could find any cool bikinis here. So I'd always buy them when I'm traveling, whether
What
Brazil,
you mean you
Colombia.
didn't find cool bikinis here? I could go to JBR and get 1,000 brands of bikini.
Doesn't mean they're cool.
Okay, what is your idea of
Unique.
cool? Unique.
Unique, comfortable, like looks nice, different, like something you would wear on the beach and feel like confident and happy to wear.
Are you talking luxury here?
Sorry?
Luxury.
It doesn't. So my brand is mid-market. So the average price of one of my bikinis is between 500 to 700 dirhams.
That's fair.
Exactly. So it's not 1,000 dirhams plus. We're not at that price category. I think there are more options if you look at that upper price category. But if you don't want to be spending over 1,000 dirhams every time you want a bikini,
cool. Yeah.
Exactly. You don't want to buy something that you're going to go to the store, the beach, and find 5, 10 copies of it next to you. Then that was the niche that I didn't find in Dubai. And that's why in my heart, I knew this is something that I always wanted to create and produce. And after learning so much from creating the fashion line, I took the first step to create the first swimwear collection, which was manufactured in Brazil. I never released it. And then Salty, as we know it now,
Today, yeah.
Salty, finally, that is my first launched swimwear collection.
So you said you went to Brazil. Why did you choose Brazil? And why didn't you launch this first attempt?
Because I wasn't happy with the end result. It wasn't perfect yet. And I really wanted the first time that the product is in the market, that people are really impressed by it, and they fall in love with not only the designs, but the quality, the fabrics, the finishing, everything. So I kept shopping for a better manufacturer, and so that's why I kept insisting, and then came around to the manufacturer I have now is incredible, and the product speaks for
Should we all
itself.
go to Brazil to manufacture?
If you can manage, because they're not easy to deal
I
with.
can imagine that.
That's another thing that
There is a
I've learned
language
the hard way.
barrier, no? You speak Portuguese?
I speak Spanish.
Oh, okay.
So there's a language barrier, there's a culture
Culture barrier,
gap,
yeah.
there's a time difference,
Yes.
12-hour time difference.
Whoa.
There is shipping things getting stuck.
Paperwork, documentation, yeah.
There is so much. I don't want to. There's so many challenges and so many things to learn, and so many things that I'm very grateful for going through the experience, for learning, because it really teaches you a lot about production, retail, design, everything.
That's a lot of
But
experience,
it's hard.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard.
So from the time you started until now, how has it been so far?
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey, but are things smoother and put in place where you could say, okay, maybe I can sometimes close one eye. I mean, you can fall asleep, you can snooze,
Yeah.
but maybe just close one eye. Is you there?
I don't think I'm there yet, because they tell you for any startup, it takes some time until you're in that place.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's funny that you bring that up, because I was just thinking about that on my way here. I have this collaboration happening with this big influencer in Egypt, and so people are responding, and so I'm trying to do this while driving to come to the studio, and multitasking. That's my life. When you have a startup, that's your life.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about just that. When you're trying to start something new, it's constant juggling, and
Right.
there's so many elements and so many things that you're trying to do, because you are small, you don't have the funds.
Yes.
You're trying to get off the ground. And the system is never really set up to support the small guys, right? So
You are right. You're right. Yeah.
when you become a big player,
Everybody wants to take my money,
everybody wants to help you out. And then, you can, have one eye closed and things will keep running. But when you're small, it's challenging, because yes, you do have to make sure that you're overseeing everything. The good side of that, from what I've seen, because I've had the opportunity to interact with a lot of people who are also similar, starting up different brands and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I don't think there are any brands in the world that take so much care to make a very good product as much as startups.
Right. Of course, like you said, in your heart. You
Yeah.
put your soul in there.
Exactly. So if you want to buy a good product, honestly, go buy it from someone who's starting something, because they have, blood, sweat, and tears to make sure that whatever it is that you're buying is a good quality, it's a value for money, all these things, because they put so much effort into it. The very big brands don't need to do that anymore.
It's for them, it's numbers.
So that is, that's why I say support local businesses, support the small guys. As a benefit for you as a consumer, it's much higher.
You're right. So how do you operate? You just mentioned multitasking, and how do you operate? Do you have employees?
We are growing. I outsource a lot of the work. I think when you are again starting at this stage,
Yeah.
that's the kind of the more efficient way to do it.
Of course, you can do everything. Right?
Exactly. So I work with different logistics companies. I have a project manager in Brazil that oversees the
Awesome.
production of everything with the manufacturer. I work with, I have my outsource to my graphics artist, my outsourcing to
Marketing.
the marketing and PR. Actually, I do a lot of it because that's my background, right? So
Okay.
I'm coming from.
We will get to that.
Yes.
Okay.
So in terms of overseeing the production, the design, all the art things, all things to do with art and media kind of fall under my domain. So I kind of tend to use a third-party outsource for the logistics.
Yeah, rather than just employing somebody, it's better to just outsource for.
Yes, because again, it's I studied a lot the market before entering, and kind of looked at other brands who have done e-commerce brands that have done exceptionally well, and I think there is a recipe to this, which is not easy, but I think it's very much about keeping you very streamlined in terms of how many people you have on the payroll, how much how many expenses are going out every month, all these details, and focusing more on the product.
On the product, yeah.
Yes.
So you said you mentioned when you are a small when you're the small guy, it's hard to get investment. So you don't have investors right now?
So I'm speaking to a few investors. Very specific questions you have there, Paris. Do you got some investors for us?
Well, you never know. Maybe somebody else will watch this and say, "Oh,
Yes.
see, I like her passion. Let me put something into
Yes,
that."
please come our way. No, you've surprised me because I thought we were going to be talking about stuff in a more general way. But yes, so I do have one investor on board. He's an investor and an advisor as well. He has
Great,
so
yeah.
much experience in finance. He's a CFO for one of the top companies in Egypt. So he's been helping me in terms of kind of making the right overall directional moves for the brand. But other than that, to be honest, it's been mainly bootstrapping. Like I've done most of it myself. At this stage, he's come on board just because he's seen the quality of the product and the brand. And now I'm kind of presenting the brand to a few people here and there to get some more investments on board.
Is it difficult?
Yes. Think about how many startups exist that want investors.
Yep.
But I think what I have received as positive feedback is, I think especially in Dubai, a lot of angel investors get approached by just a design, a concept.
Right.
Not really a product.
Not really a product.
Yeah, they get approached, with this absolutely incredible, amazing idea, but it's all on paper.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think the positive that I've received is, they said you
have something going on. That's better.
Yes. So we see what you put together. We see your drive, your passion. You actually have the product. You have your e-commerce. You've set up the logistics. You've set up the supply chain. So the person knows what they're investing in. Whereas I think sometimes what's been happening here is, again, this concept of just investing on paper. Again, I think at the end of the day, for such small startups, the investor is really investing in the person more than anything else.
More than anything else. So you said you've approached some investors and
some have approached me, actually, so that's the positive.
So you turned some down?
No, I think it's more with investments. It's always really about
the relationship, the
equity,
person.
right?
Oh, okay.
That's
equity
one
matters.
aspect,
Yeah.
and then the other aspect is it are you getting the right kind of deal here? So
yeah.
I think it was more about just sussing out the relationship, as you said, and also understanding if this is to the benefit of my brand or not.
Yeah. So you are in a very specific niche. Fashion, and then outdoor wear, and then beach wear. It goes down and down. Do you think if you did something different, it would have been, if you did something else, it would have been different in terms of support, investment, and this?
What do you mean by something different?
Now, what I see is if you come to me and say beachwear, it's very niche. It takes a lot of, I don't know, probably it takes a lot of cost to acquire one customer. I don't know. This is not my domain. If you did something in general, maybe if you sell chocolate or something, or you run some dating app, or
that's what Dubai needs, more dating apps.
See, yes. Do you think?
But you're on to something. So again, one of my big learnings doing this is you learn what a J-curve business is.
Right.
And you learn more about exponential growth. So you're right in the sense that, so businesses that sell products, F&Bs, retail, all of these things, these are businesses that require you to invest a lot of money before you see the return. So
Yes.
you dip,
Yes.
and then it's that dip that is so dangerous
Just
because
dangerous, yeah.
it's not just a financial dip, it's an emotional dip as well.
Sometimes you just quit and that's it.
Yes, because not everybody's able to sustain that, keep going through that period. So it is hard in that sense. Whereas a subscription-based business model where, for example, I'm hosting a podcast and it doesn't matter
Hey,
if I
don't make money with this. I don't make money. Okay,
He
okay.
doesn't make money, guys. But he's looking for investors, him too. So subscription-based, like a dating app. Let's leave your podcast alone. Like a dating app.
Okay.
It's you've already invested the capital into creating the app. Although apps are very expensive to create, but let's just say let's say you're making instructional videos, an instructional website or tutorials or whatever. You're investing a set amount for the videos, for whatever service that it is that you're selling, and then whether you have 1 or 2 or 20, that just becomes an added financial gain.
Yeah.
You don't need to make more product to service that customer client. So financially, if you're looking just at numbers, that is
a viable product to scale.
It's an easier road to success. But then the big question...
I really wish it was.
You will. It takes time. Everything takes time.
Yeah.
But I think the main thing is, again, what I've asked myself is, okay, regardless of the business model, what is it that you're passionate about? Because if you don't have the passion behind what you're doing, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You won't sustain it anyway.
You won't sustain it anyway.
So for me, I was always passionate about design. And so I decided that, this is what I really want to try to make happen. Not necessarily for the finance of it. Although I know people, again, that shows maybe that I'm more of the artsy person. I'm not really, even when I started, I never really thought about it from the money side of things. I just thought I want to make these really cool bikinis and swimsuits. Now I'm learning all the money side of it.
And how is that going?
Yeah.
Have you broken even?
Yes, I have.
See,
yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I think you passed a hurdle because even with bootstrapping, I think the most important thing you really want to get to is profit.
Yes.
Because if you're bootstrapping and you think, oh, because I'm artistic and something, and then you don't get the money and you just... Somebody just wipe you out of the... So
I work full-time as well.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that's why I'm it's not easy. So I work full-time. I work also, I still do my event moderating and hosting. That's another added income for me. So I really am utilizing all the resources that I have to make this my little baby, grow. I think if you're a startup, because I have friends, for example, that are in similar situations and they don't work. They just focused. They're just dedicated to the brand.
business, yeah.
But then it becomes a lot more extreme because you don't have the money to fund it.
Correct.
When you do work and do it at the same time, you have a source of income to fund it, but then you're overworked and tired and most of the time. So you choose.
The devil and the blue sea.
Exactly. Which one do you want? It's up to you.
Maybe your baby or your job. Now, this is a very interesting concept that I've always thought about. How easy it is to have a regular job in Dubai and still have a side hustle?
Where is the question in that? You learn a lot. It's challenging, but you learn a lot.
Now, for instance, I believe people in Dubai work a lot more than other places. You put 10 hours, 12 hours, and then you go home really tired. Sometimes some people don't even have the time to socialize.
Yeah.
We are very time poor.
Yes.
Because we want to make the best of why we are here.
Okay.
Now, let's say if you're in Europe, maybe in Africa or some Asia or even North America.
No, not North America. That's where I grew up.
Well,
May I ask where you're from?
Nigeria.
Okay.
Great.
You grew up in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can have a regular job. You can have a regular job because people go to work from 5 to really that 4 or 5 and go home. and still run a business because you have an extra time.
Yeah.
But here, I think it's difficult.
Yes.
Do you think it's possible for people to get into that mindset, you being an employee? How easy it is for an employee to run a side hustle here?
I think that's where passion comes in. I think you only do it if you're passionate about what you're doing on the other side, because it is sacrifice. Like the reality is, yes, you sacrifice. I spend my weekends doing pop-ups. After I finish my work, I'm sitting overseeing the website, the marketing, contacting different outlets to try to. So I'm very happy that we are in West Beach. So one of the boutiques in Playa Beach in West Beach carries our brand. And we're also in a couple of other boutiques. We're in another boutique in Jetty Lounge. And now I'm expanding to Egypt as well.
Oh, cool.
So, all of these, creating that, building the brand, getting it into different outlets, reaching out to influencers, creating the PR, all of this takes a lot of work. And I'm doing this whenever I have a free moment,
right.
And when I finish work and on the weekends. It's a 24-hour job. Like you don't ever just say, okay, I'm done now, I'm gonna leave this. Even when you're on vacation, I'm creating content, I'm taking content for the brand, I'm filming this, I'm doing that. So it is feasible, but you have to want it. And I think what happens in Dubai, from what I've observed, is it depends also what kind of career you're doing, right? Because if you're a banker or in Dubai, or a lawyer, or probability is you are
never have your own time. Yeah.
You don't have really any capacity or maybe even desire to do something outside of that. And if you want to, you would really have to leave that job, because that is in itself a 24-hour job,
yeah.
Right? It's, again, I do think what happens in Dubai, though, and not just here, in many big cities, is we lose sight of what is it that we actually want.
Well, there's a lot of things.
So I think that's kind of it's not about getting someone to feel like, oh, they can do it or can't do it. I think it's more about people really understanding deep down, okay, what is it that I want? What is gonna help me reach the goal or dream or vision that I have for my life? And if that means it's this, then you make the sacrifices for that. You step by step, day by day, month by month, start to get more and more aligned with that vision. And that means you cut out the noise from other things.
All right. Well, that's awesome. Let's go back to investments.
Okay. I hope I'm going to get some investors at the end of this little...
Listen, this is very important because, a lot of people come to Dubai looking for investors, investments, and a lot of people really have great product or whatever, maybe great ideas as well. You never know what picks up.
Yep.
Right. So to scale your brand, a fashion brand like yours.
A very good question. So I think the big thing with fashion, when people start and they don't have the retail background, is that they don't understand this concept of scaling.
Yes. Me, and right now I don't understand this one.
Yeah. So scaling, there is an advantage and a disadvantage.
Right.
The world has become much more reliant, as we know, on the digital economy, right? So you can set up an e-commerce platform. It's a lot simpler, more straightforward to do that. So that gives you, as a brand, a big plus, that you don't need the brick and mortar. You don't need to have a store. You don't need to be part of a big department store. You can just start that way. It's not cheap, though, because then what happens is you need to invest a lot in digital marketing, whether it's collaborating with influencers or ads or whatever it is, and it is expensive, people.
Yes.
It's very expensive. So whatever that you're saving from that side, you kind of need to invest it in that aspect.
Yes.
So how do you scale? you either spend a lot on digital marketing, which is incredibly, as I said, expensive, or you get yourself into key strategic locations, or you try to do both, a little bit of
That's
both.
what I think you are doing both. Yes, correct.
Exactly. So again, the difficulty with trying to be in strategic locations is that everybody
Wants to be.
So why would they pick you if you're starting out? So it is a little bit of a fine dance between all those things. And then the other element of it is getting lucky. You know, somebody famous likes your brand, sees your bikini somewhere and decides to wear it, and woo, you know, there you go.
There you go.
So it's like everything in life. It's definitely the effort, the work. It's a little bit of, you know, sending out the message to the universe.
Yeah.
You know, universe.
Let the universe
fix
it for you.
Universe, this is what I'm focusing on. Bring it to me, and then you wait for it to happen, and you keep going, and you do it. That's why the passion. Again, I keep coming back to that. That's why it's important, because if you're waiting for the end result, I don't think you can keep going.
Yes, you need some incentive somehow. External factors. Yeah.
Exactly.
Something has to happen eventually. If not, you'll be
and that's what I mean. If you are passionate about it, you don't, because you like it anyway. Whether somebody's gonna come and give you, buy your product or put it in their store or not, you still actually like what you're making. And I think that's why I'm saying it's the passion. Like I bring back again the example of the podcast. You like interviewing people. You like to talk to them. You enjoy this. So
and I still don't make money.
But you still do it.
Yeah.
Exactly, because you still enjoy it. Yeah. That is the drive.
Right.
Yeah, because if you're just gonna wait till you're making the millions off of it, you
never do it. Yes.
You'd probably have quit when you didn't make it after, I don't know, how many months or whatever. Depends on your patience.
Yeah, it depends on your patience. So, another angle, still on the investment. Now, when I mentioned scaling, we talked about scaling in growing exponentially. Now, for a beachwear brand, how else can you scale? Like, can you do a beachwear brand and upsell with something else?
Of course you can, but I'm not divulging my secrets to you, Paris.
That's true.
You're gonna have to just hold on and see where the brand goes.
Oh, okay.
This is top secret.
Okay, it's still in the works. Great.
I have my plans for where I want the brand to be in 3 years and 5 years, and it's not the traditional kind of I'm only going to be making bikinis. No, that's not where I see the brand. So I see it expanding to a lot more. Again, as I told you, it's the beach life.
More beach life products.
Yes,
right?
It's the beach life. That's what I fell in love with, and that's what I've tried to capture in the essence of the design. It's just that that love for the reason I called it salty is because I don't know if you
the taste.
So if you've ever had a really fun day at the beach all day long, you know what I mean? Like spent all day long with your friends, swam, played sports, ate, like had an amazing day at the beach. By the end of it, you go home and you're salty. You taste salty,
you
right?
Taste salty, yeah.
So that's why for me it's like salty means you've spent a really good day at the beach.
Yeah. So you mentioned you lived in North America, yeah? And
yes, I grew up in Chicago.
You grew up in Chicago. Do you think anything would have been different if you had done this in America?
I don't know. I mean, I left the US when I was right after university, when I graduated. Would have things played out differently? That's a very hard thing to say.
You wish you had two lives on a parallel?
Do you mean would the brand have been more successful?
Or not? What would have been different?
I think, the US is always going to be, a big, market and manufacturing hub in the entire world. But I don't know. Maybe it would have been more challenging because the
Yeah,
market is
because
bigger, so
bigger,
I would have
yeah.
been more
Yeah.
hesitant. But maybe it would have also been easier because, again, one of the big things that kept delaying me in starting the brand is the sourcing of the manufacturer and the materials because you
And
can't.
Brazil is closer to America. Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't have been Brazil at that point, but here
Probably.
in Dubai, this is not available in the UAE, so you cannot make them here. You have to make them somewhere else. So these are all factors that maybe if I was in the US and the fabrics, the manufacturers are available, I would have started sooner. So I don't know, it's hard to say really. But I don't think this like the style also I think about my design journey and growth and how I've come to create the style and design, and I think a big part of that has more to do with my travels around the world and
Yeah, I see this Amazonian style. Those are really cool.
yeah, experiencing, yeah, that's our signature, the kind of the Amazonian goddess rope, which is going to be featured a lot more in the next collection, which I'm working on now.
You should do some for the men too, yeah.
That is also that is all men and kids. So that's actually I already have the samples from that from year one, but I
Oh.
just again taking it one step at a time.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, but for sure.
So, do you sell in the US currently?
I sell internationally because we ship internationally. It's an
ship
e-commerce platform. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
So saltyswim.net is our website.
Saltyswim.net.
Yes, and you can buy, and we ship to anywhere in the world, and you can contact us, pre-order stuff if you like. We for the next collection, which I'll be launching very soon as well. And yeah,
So, how often do you launch new collections?
every year.
Every year, new collection?
Yes. I mean, our launch products are throughout the year, but at this stage in time, we're working on the collection for. It's not going to. Okay, let me reword this. Our products are launched throughout the year. So, we just launched our latest third eye pattern. Just launched it in the beginning of April. But now I'm working on the 25 collection.
Oh,
Yeah, and so another thing about fashion is you work incredibly ahead of the actual season.
oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Oh, okay. So let's start from the ground up. Let's talk about your background.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we had a chat before, and you said you work in media. And how did you move from media to events and this startup? I think it's hard for people to do one thing most of the time and then switch to the other. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, they haven't met me.
that's some
Switched
talent
so
there.
many times. I haven't switched though. I think so. I started my career. I've worked in TV as a producer and presenter for the past 14 years. So worked with some of the biggest broadcasters in the region, OSN, NBC, Dubai TV. So did some amazing shows, covered film festivals across the world, covered the Oscars, covered so many incredible events, both behind and in front of the camera. My latest was working with Bloomberg and doing financial news coverage. So what started to happen, I think, is that for me was always a creative process as well.
Right.
So, you understand. It's like, how do you bring whatever content, subject, message to life? That's really, in essence, what you're doing when you're doing digital or TV. And then bit by bit, I was always getting approached for communications coaching and consulting. And so that started to I started to spend more and more time doing that with different people one-on-one, whether executives or students. And so that took me more into the path of doing more communications consulting, doing more production work, more PR. And yes, when I think about it, like I know from the outside looking in, it seems like it's all separate and it's jumping from a different area to another. But for me, it's a creative process.
In your heart.
In my heart. It's always been a creative process.
Yeah.
It's just your format and medium changes, but it's all just being creative. Even it's about being creative and about connecting with people.
Oh, that's pretty impressive. So you left being a producer, right? And now you manage events.
No, I don't do event management. No.
Did I hear that wrong?
Yes.
I'm
No,
sorry.
no, it's okay.
Okay.
So I moderate events.
Moderate events.
So I moderate events, host events, meaning that you're presenting the subject matter on stage.
Great.
So it
great.
still falls in line with the reporting, TV, presenting, because it's just one is in front of a camera, in front of TV, and the other is doing it on stage in front of people. So that is one aspect of what I do, and the other aspect of work that I do is communications consulting. So basically helping people with their communications strategy, media planning, PR.
This you do for businesses or individuals?
For businesses. Yep.
And so why didn't you set up a business in this part?
I think because there are so many production studios and so many comms agencies and 360 agencies that exist. And I like to work on a project by project basis. I like the process of creativity. I like it more than the process of going out to get the clients, if that makes sense.
You want them to come to you.
I like I want to spend more and more time and effort in my life in being creative. And so, as I was saying to you earlier, what are the steps that I need to take to be able to do more of that? And I think obviously for running an agency, a big part of it is you need to be getting the clients in. Whereas now I get approached by the different companies to work with them on whatever project. I work with students, but that's what I do day to day now for communications, coaching and consulting. So I'm actually spending more time doing the thing that I love to do. And then of course, the creativity with Salty. And then selling Salty is more than enough of the sales job for me.
It's a sales job for you, yeah. So what are the ingredients you think one needs to put together to get to this level for every entrepreneur who's just coming to the city?
Can you repeat that?
What are the ingredients you think a person needs to put together to get to that level where you break even, where you become successful? I'm sure you have a lot of experience from dealing with people, sales, media, customer relations, and logistics. Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes a lot of people don't like to share their experience because they don't have the time either, or
They like to keep it for themselves.
No, not really. If you wanted to keep it for yourself, you wouldn't come to this podcast. It's just that it's not your thing, or you don't want, it's not like.
But I think, the question is, how do you define the success?
Success is you're happy doing what you love, honestly.
You can do that without anything. If you love to film, even if you get to do it, once or twice a month, and that makes you happy, you're successful.
Yeah, if you cannot afford the time, the energy, and the money to buy awesome cameras, you cannot do it.
Exactly. But the reason I bring that up is I feel like there's a definition of success.
Everybody has his own definition
somehow. In the Dubai kind of climate, there's a different definition of success. So which one are you referring to?
Okay, both.
So I think the ingredients to be successful, in my opinion, if you actually want the real feeling of success, is very much about understanding what gives you joy. what is it that makes you feel good inside, makes you happy to do, nothing to do with other people. It's not about whether somebody's gonna see it or somebody's gonna come and, you know, pat you on the back and told you did a good job, or you're gonna get paid for it, or you're gonna get featured for it. It's nothing to do with that. It's something, you know, you figure out what you love to do, and you can do it in many formats and do it for hours, and you'd still be happy to do it.
Yeah.
And if you can figure out what that is, because not everybody can, it's not so easy for everyone, you know.
Right.
For me, myself, it was difficult to actually come to understand what it is that I enjoyed. My brother is very different. My brother is a chef. He's been a chef since he was 14, 15 years
Wow,
old.
that's awesome.
Always wanted to be a chef. Always knew that that's what he
That's
loved.
what you wanted. Yeah, it's easy for some people. For some people, no, you have to try a lot. Yeah.
Exactly. So for me, success is understanding that, taking the right decisions in your life to be able to do that more and more. And by that, you'll be successful, because you will be living every day, you know, in alignment with the vision that you want for yourself and for your life, which is an incredible feeling. It takes work and it's hard, but now there is the other vision of success.
I think this is what almost everybody's interested in, because I mean, you have to keep the things going. You have to, it's like lubricant.
You know, it's funny. I come from that side of things, because obviously I worked in TV, I worked with all the big media personalities, I interviewed all the big names and all of that stuff. So when I first went into that career, that's what, you know, we all at some point, well, not all of us is incorrect, but you want a piece of that. You want a piece of that, you know, the action, the glamour, the excitement, the whatever. And that's what pulled me in. But then I think the biggest thing is, once you're in it, you realize how toxic it is. I realized how toxic it is.
Yeah.
So the reason I say that is because there is no end to it. So what is success in that department? It never ends, because who depends who you're sitting next to. You're successful now. If it's another guy who comes in and he's got, you know, 4 million viewers, then you're not successful anymore.
Yeah.
And if you are sitting next to a guy who's just started, then you're a huge success. So it's relevant.
Success is relative to who you're next to. If that's how you want to measure it.
It's relative. It's about comparison. It's about who's hot now. It's about who's watching you, how many followers you have, what you're driving, you know, all these kind of things, which you're never gonna win. And
you never win, yeah.
And it never really brings you, and that's why it's never really, again, as you keep rising in fame or wealth or whatever, the people that are around you become more and more famous, wealthy, etc. So then you start to feel like you're still not there. You need to be more successful.
You need to be more successful.
So it's, you know, and I think honestly, more people who have been in this life long enough, you know, that are getting, you know, by society standards considered successful, I think they also either get really, really sick and get very miserable, because to be able to keep up in that kind of toxicity is very draining, and it is difficult. Or they realize, they start to see through it all, through the construct of it all, and then they don't care anymore. And then their success becomes the original one, which is what I was saying, which is, what do you love to do? You know, if you can do that, figure out what it is you love to do and do it every day, and it doesn't matter about who, what, where, all of that, then.
That's beautiful.
Thank you so much. I've recently was with a shaman who said something to me that I think is very, very powerful. And I love it. He said, we're all learning how to be human.
Well, I mean.
And so I just say that because, you know, I'm saying this, I've had my own struggles, I'm still figuring it out. This has been my journey. Somebody else's might be different, but I'm learning what it is to be a human being in this life.
It's a journey, right? So did you get a lot of support starting out?
No, not at all. You didn't get any support. This industry does not offer support. Unless you are, you know, born into it. Some people are. They have family that, you know, work in the media world, or and then it becomes a bit easier for them. But no, I moved to Dubai after graduating university. Didn't really know anyone here. The idea of actually doing TV kind of happened as a very random kind of
So you didn't
situation.
study anything relating to
No, I
media?
did.
Oh,
So
okay.
the first when I started, it was very random kind of situation that came up. Then I went back to university. I did my master's in broadcast production journalism, and then I started from zero. I was, making.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Literally, I was making a little, this is before digital was such a big thing.
Yeah.
I was making a small kind of skit online show about celebrity news. I was filming it in a very small studio. We'd edit it. I'd sit and edit it with the editors. It was in Arabic. We had little graphics on it and stuff. It was called Nujum Habiba, which means Habiba stars, Habiba celebrities.
Wow.
That's how I started.
Oh,
And
great.
send out these videos to my WhatsApp list every week, and post it and hope that they will get somebody's attention.
You
And
have to put yourself out there, yeah.
yeah, because when you're so young and you're starting out, the chances of a big channel come, oh yes, come, we'll take you and train you and create a show reel for you. Come, yes, yeah, that doesn't happen unless you've got some big name backing you up. The reality is, you go to them and they're like, "Do you have any experience?" "I just graduated." "Great. When you have experience, come find us."
Oh, that's beautiful. And what about starting HotnSalty? Did you get any support?
So
I mean, when I mean support, not financial support.
okay,
I'm
because you've
talking-
been talking all finances, so that's where my brain went.
Listen, the thing is, if you start watching this podcast and for the first 10 minutes I don't mention anything finance,
And
you'll
then
be
you go
bored.
straight
You'll be
into it.
bored.
No, I'm teasing you. I've gotten a lot of support. I've gotten a lot of moral support from my
That's very
family.
important, yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely my family were just kind of, they saw that, I think, of course, which is very normal. I was hesitant, I was scared, and they were just, really behind me to say, take the step, do it. You can make it happen. You just have to take the first steps. And I think that's the hardest part. I think until you step into it, you always make it out to be something so much bigger, right? It's like you keep sitting there, looking at what's behind the curtain. There's going to be a big monster there, a big monster there. Whereas when you finally just do it, you don't do it perfectly.
Of course.
There's so many challenges, and the things don't work, and you have to restart so many things. But it's just, you start to take the steps and you realize that it is feasible.
Good enough is fine. It's good enough, that's fine.
But definitely, I would say, my family, some friends have definitely been very, very supportive of me, just believing in the brand, and once seeing the product really helped me to have the platform to show it to more people. Friends that have helped me with the marketing and building the actual brand name, which one of them
That's very important.
That is super important.
Yeah.
Again, I think I found this community of people where they're in similar situations, really trying to do their own thing. And I think that becomes a very strong community, because then it's like you pay it forward. They help you. Then you meet someone who's in a similar situation. If you can help them, you help them. So it's a nice. I feel very grateful to have those people around me, and I think it's also helped me to, again, cut people out that weren't that kind of energy.
That's cool. Well, we'll say this is like a special thanks to the friends that have been there the whole time. So I hope the friends
know
will
who
listen.
you are, guys.
You know who you are.
Marie sending you a big kiss. Tina sending you a big kiss. Mom and Dad, bye.
That's great. So, what else would you have done? What else would you have done if you were not are doing hot and salty. You know, sometimes you start something and you're like, oh, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. Or maybe you wait like a few years more and okay, fine. I've done hot and salty. Maybe at some point you exit, you sell the business, and then you do
Yeah.
something else. What else would you have done?
Something that I've done my entire life and I very much believe in, and is the world, and you probably could tell from me speaking to you today, is the world of like health, mental health, energy. I think that that's been a passion of mine
Right.
always, and not in the very traditional sense of just go work out every day. No, I think it's a whole package. I think
Yes.
it's the biggest, most important tool we have in our life, the sanctuary of our body. Without it, it's just for me, I think it's almost something that I've become speechless about, because I've gone through some experiences recently which have made me really, really understand how incredibly lucky we are to have the experience of being alive.
Of course, yeah.
Just have this miracle of a body that gets us through life, and that functions and gets injured and ill and recovers and gives life, and so I think the life that we're living more and more is just taking us so far away from treating ourselves well. And so I think that's something that I spend a lot of time and energy in, and if I could do more and more of that to help people, to spread that message, to help them find the tools and the lifestyle and the adjustments that they can do to have happier, healthier lives, because it's not, I think there's a lot of noise out there when it comes to this area, a lot of noise.
Of course, yeah.
And it's not necessarily, I think it's just another aspect of commercialism. It's just something else to pull you into another path. It's not really for your benefit. So that's something I would have definitely liked to do, and maybe I still can do it one day. We'll see.
Or maybe one day.
Yeah.
Well, so let's final so this final session, right? For I know the specifics of like a very thin line, but sometimes it comes as a huge differences. What advice do you give to women who are just starting out on this kind of a journey that you've embarked on?
You mean to start to try to create their own
Yeah,
business?
their own business, yeah.
I just would say, like, really just, okay, live the kind of lifestyle that is going to help to give you clarity on what you want. And that means taking care of your body, taking care of yourself, doing breath work, eating well, getting the rest that you need. Like,
Do you get rest?
I don't have much of a social life, but yes,
Yeah,
I do
okay.
get rest.
Okay.
That takes the priority. So it means I don't have much of a social
Oh,
life.
okay, very good.
Sometimes I don't, but I try to, in general, yes, I'm in bed, you're going to laugh, but usually I'm in bed by 10 o'clock.
That's
and then
great.
I'm up by, 6, 7. So that's
That's awesome.
that's.
I mean, there is nothing out there actually.
There's lots out there, but very rarely do I get to explore it. But sometimes I do. Sometimes I get to, go out and have a little bit of. Don't get me wrong, I have fun. I love the mornings. I'm an early morning person, so I have an absolutely amazing time. I go down to the beach, I meditate. I just find so much peace in that time of day. So the reason I start with this is because if you're not in the right headspace, nothing I say after will make sense.
Right.
All of this advice that you will give to someone, if they're not in the right headspace,
Yeah,
it goes.
yeah.
So the first step is get yourself in the right headspace so that you can have clarity on what it is that you want to do, what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that you can stay driven about day in, day out. That would be my first advice. Second step is once you figure that out, then just stay true to it. Don't listen to the the noise. Don't get pulled into different paths that take your energy away from your goal. Like, you really need to live that goal as if it's happened, and embrace it, and just keep going, do all the steps, take all the steps that you can in your power to make it happen, to be in alignment with that goal. And then again, don't focus on what's the end goal. Like, am I going to be successful? Is it going to be a big brand? Am I going to make money? If you do these things, then you are doing these things for that moment, because you're enjoying doing it in that moment, and that is enough, and that will keep you happy. And wherever that ends up taking you, it will. It's just about being present then. So that would be my advice, is, really stay true to yourself.
That's a moment of clarity. Okay, I really enjoyed this session, despite the hiccups. I appreciate your time for coming. I know it's not easy on a Monday morning, on a Monday evening in Dubai, and you took the time to come. And I want to say a big thank you for honoring this next episode of the Paris OG podcast. And guys, thanks for listening, and meet Habiba Basiony, the founder of Salty Beachwear, luxury beachwear. Yeah, great. So
thank you for having me.
If you ever want something that is out of the ordinary as a beachwear, you go to Habiba. Thank you.
Come find Salty.
Yes.
Get salty.